Hello everyone, welcome to Tech Learnings. Today we are starting up with another series of Tech Learnings. The series I have named it as Java Essentials. Now in this series we'll be learning about certain practices or techniques or tools that we as Java developers must be aware of. Okay, so we are going to learn today about how to debug a Java application. Now this seems to be a very simple thing for the people who know it, but for people who do not know it, it's a very important thing to know. All right. So first, let's for the people who do not know about debugging and how important it is for us. So debugging is when you want to diagnose your programs for errors or your exceptions, or you want to analyze the runtime behavior of your application. Now by runtime behavior I mean that you want to know what is the value that is coming in this variable. Is this if condition getting evaluated, or else logic is getting evaluated? You, how is your expressions getting evaluated? So all those analyzing of your program at runtime, the debugging is going to help you to do that. Okay, so I have created a sample Java application where we'll be learning how to debug the application. So let's get started with that. A simple Java class with debugging demo, show method, and main method, creating the object, invoking the show method, printing here in the sysout whatever is returned, and then exiting. I think I need not explain this class as well. This is very simple. Now moving further. Now when you do a right click, because our class is containing main method, so we can directly run it. Now when I say run it, we have two options here. One is a run as a Java application and another one is debug as Java application. Now what is the difference between the two? Let me first run it. Alright, all the statements got executed, and now let me debug it. So there is not any difference between the two. Now how debugging works? Debugging works on the concepts of breakpoints. You tell your program to stop the execution at this particular line. Now how to add this breakpoint? You can just double click here. This will install the breakpoint. So you can have, or you want to remove it, just do a right click, disable or toggle, or whatever you want to do. So now breakpoint, basically your program is going to stop at that line. Now if you run your application, the program is not going to stop. It's simply going to ignore your breakpoints. Alright, so in order that breakpoints to be executed, your flow should stop over that line. You should always do a debug as application. Run your application in debugging mode. Now you can see here, right, your green color highlight of this line means your program execution right now is stopped over here. Now there are certain buttons on this toolbar that have been provided to us in order to debug. Now first let's get started with this resume button, or F8 is the shortcut to that. Now what is this resume button going to do? Now our program execution is suspended at this line. If you want to resume the execution of our program, then we are going to click this button, or you can press F8 key as well. So it is going to resume the execution of the suspended thread. Alright, now let's install one more breakpoint and run our application in debug mode again. Alright, so if I click this button resume, what it is going to do, it is going to take you to the next breakpoint. Alright, your thread execution again started, and then it took you to the next breakpoint. That is very effective way and very simple way and easy to learn as well. F8 is the shortcut. Fine. So you can install multiple breakpoints. Here we have a simple program. So in your big application you will have multiple classes, flow going across multiple classes, or even through different applications as well. So you can debug your application like that. Fine. So this is F8, which is going to resume the suspended thread execution. Let's learn more. Now there are three more buttons over here. One says step into, one says step over, and one says step return, which is right now disabled. Let's first learn step over. Now step over is going to execute the current line where your program is right now stopped. Alright, or you can say suspended is the right word. So it is going to execute this line and it is going to take you to the next executable line. So my next executable line is line number 14. So let me do a step over. Alright, again do a step over, again do a step over, again do a step over. So similarly you can basically, what step over is going to do, current line where your execution is suspended, execute that line and take you to the next executable line. Now if you do a F6 again, see where the control flow has gone, thread.class exit method. So because the control goes in thread.class and executes certain piece of code of that class as well, that is why you can see that thing as well. But this is something which we always do not want, right? So what you can do, you can simply click the resume button. Okay, so I hope both of these buttons are clear to you. What is resume going to do, or F8 going to do? Take you to the next breakpoint, and your F6 basically is going to execute your next executable line. Now let's do again. Now taking to F5, which is my step into. Now if I click step over, it is going to take me here to this line, which is my next executable line. Now here's your show method is also getting invoked. Now step into, the word into says that you want to go inside. Now let's click. Earlier the flow was not getting highlighted in show method when you are doing step over. Now when you are saying step into, then what it is going to do, it is going to take you inside the show method, and then you can click out here. Now see print stream class step into, uh, everything means going inside and inside, whatever code is getting executed is going to take you inside. So what you can do, step resume, sorry, I hope it's clear. Step into is going to take you inside the method. Okay, now step return, uh, let's do step return as well. Let's first try to go inside because this button is not yet highlighted. Let's do a step into. Now you see this is highlighted, and step return. Now what step return is going to do, it is going to execute your method, and your method whatever it is returning, that would be returned, and it is going to take you to the next, basically demo.show is now returned, and your message line, this is the expression, or this is now the value which is returned from show method, that is going to be assigned to your uh, variable message. So that is step return, basically execute your that method completely and then return the flow back. Okay, fine. Okay, we got some error out here. It's related to JVM, so let's ignore that for the moment because it's not related to our uh, you can say debugging. This is hardly you will be getting. So again, now there was one more point which I said during the intro, that if you want to analyze at runtime what are the values that are getting in your variables, that you can do in debugging. Now what you can do, you can simply hover it and you see message. What is the message value? That is I am fine. So this is how you can debug, or you can see the values of your variables. Suppose you want to know whether this demo is containing null or not, so you can just hover it and then get to know whether it is containing null or not. This is particularly useful when you are debugging your null pointer exceptions. So you need to just hover it up, or if some expression is there, you can just hover it over there. So in this pop-up box you can see the values as well. Okay, now one last point about debugging in this Java application, that at a runtime what you can do, you can change the values of your variables as well. Now here right now message is I am fine. Now if you want to change it at a runtime, now how you can change it? Let me add a pointer here as well, debug as Java application. Okay, so right now the message is containing I am fine. If I want to change it, so what you can do, we have been provided one way as well. There is one display view. If it is not visible, you can just write down display. So what does display mode says, or display view says? You can write down your expression. Let's say I say message is equals to uh, tick, and you can just do execute. So now the variable value message will now be tick. So at runtime you can execute Java code using this display mode and then analyze the behavior basically. In our case it's a simple sysout statement, so it doesn't make much of a difference, but now you know how you can basically change the values of your variables at runtime. Sorry. Fine. This is about debugging the Java application. I have written down few uh, text as well for you, or you can just refer to my blog as well. What is step over going to do? It is going to execute the currently selected line and suspends on the next executable line. Alright, what is F5? What is step into? It is going to invoke the next expression on the currently selected line to be executed, and the execution is going to suspend at the next executable line in the method which is invoked. Now what is step return? Step return says that the execution is going to resume until the return statement in the current method is executed, and your execution is going to suspend on the next executable line. Now resumes the execution of currently suspended debug target. I hope it's clear. Your F8, remember F8 and your F6 are the most commonly used, because step into or step return you do not use that much frequently, but your F8 and F6 are usually the most two shortcuts that you are going to use frequently. So this is about debugging the Java application. Similarly, if it is a web application, let me just quickly take you through that as well. So I have created the Java application. So you can add the server in, sorry, you can add your application to the server and start the server here using start button, or there is one more button which is debug. So you can start the server in two modes basically. One is debug mode and another one is your start mode. So when you're running your server in debug mode and place some breakpoints in any of your classes, so in that case your control is going to stop over there. Let's say I do a just simple debug as debug on server, so my control is going to stop at my breakpoint. Let's say resume. and I say resume, it's going to execute. So if it is a web application or if it's a simple normal Java application, you can do both. Now I hope this tutorial made it clear to you and you'll be able to debug your applications now, even if you did not know earlier. Please let me know if you still have any doubts through your comments, and if you like this video, please hit the like button and please do subscribe my channel. There are a lot of things that we'll be learning in the course of time. So thank you so much for watching. uh, have a good time. Bye bye.